Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the Crown Tundra Guide series with Stakataka. This Pokemon that doesn't really look like a Pokemon is actually a really solid Pokemon. It's very good under Trick Room because it is the slowest Pokemon in the game at a speed stat of 13, unbelievably slow. But that's great for Trick Room because when it's under Trick Room, it's the fastest boy around. Pretty good stuff. Rock Steel typing is a pretty okay typing. I mean, it's good offensively, definitely, and you have a lot of resistances and an immunity, but you also have two quad weaknesses, fighting and ground, which are both very bad to have. Luckily, there are a couple of workarounds we have that can kind of help out that. You know, you have things like Shuka Berry, you have switch into flying type, you have ally switch on things like Dusclops. There are workarounds, but none of them are perfect. They're still good, though. Definitely. Anyway, yeah, I like this Pokemon a lot. I think it's very solid under Trick Room. I mean, it's done very well at a lot of events in the past. You know, I think it either won a Worlds or at least topped a Worlds, for sure. But either way, yeah, it's very solid. Anyway, let's talk about it some more. So Beast Boost is a cool ability. All Ultra Beasts have it. Whenever it knocks out a Pokemon, it gains whatever its highest stat is, it gains +1. Usually going to be the defense unless you go for the max attack Stakataka build, which this Pokemon is capable of doing. However, then you have to go into a minus defense nature and even lose some IVs to do that. It might be worth it if that's what you want. And we do have a build for that, but we also have a build that just raises defense, and it's a bulky boy as well. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about its stats and then get into the build. You thought I was going to get into the build. Let's talk about its stats real quick. So HP at 61 is not crazy good, but with Dynamax, it's not bad. Dynamax an investment. But defense at 211 is absurd. I mean, this thing is not taking damage from physical attacks unless it's its quad weakness. So it'll still take damage. But you know what? 211 is still very high. Special defense at 101 is also very high as well. So, both of its defenses are good. HP needs some investment in Dynamax, and it'll be able to, live a lot of attacks. So that's good. Live a lot of attacks that aren't fighting our ground. If it's fighting our ground, it might live 1 to 2. Yeah, probably 1. Anyway, it's pretty good. As far as the offense of this Pokemon goes, attack at 131 is actually very solid as well, especially if you go for things like Weakness Policy or Life Orb. You're going to be doing a lot of damage, and after, a Beast Boost in attack or defense, this Pokemon it's doing a lot of damage while taking not that much damage. And if you can bring this thing out in perfect positioning where there's no fighting or ground coverage, this thing is just cleaning up. Awesome stuff. Special attack doesn't matter. Speed is very low, which is actually beneficial for this Pokemon because it's in a Trick Room setting like we were saying. Anyway, now, without further ado, let's look at the builds. So I have two builds presented here. The first one is the more, general, normal Stakataka. Just going to be as fast as possible. I don't know why I said that. Just going to do as much damage as possible and be as bulky as possible. The build is very standard. 252 HP, 252 attack, and then 4 special defense with Brave Nature. Just making it as strong as possible while being as slow as possible as well. As you see there, IV 0 speed as well. Just so it can be super slow so that it can activate Trick Room or, its partner can activate Trick Room and then Dynamax and sweep under Trick Room. That's what you want to do with this guy. Weakness Policy is what I went for on the first build just because it's very good, especially with things like Dusclops, Trick Room, and then activate or Trick Room and then Bulldoze, and now it's Weakness Policy'd up, and then you just start killing everything. You have Ally Switch to grind away your 4 times, fighting weakness. It's good stuff across the board. This build is the more standard and very good build. Now the second build we have here, let's talk about its moves also. Gyro Ball, Rock Slide, Body Press, and Trick Room. Dual Stab for Gyro Ball and Rock Slide. Body Press because after Gyro Ball and Rock Slide, more so Gyro Ball, you buff your defense up and then you attack with Body Press and it's super powerful. Even beforehand, if you don't Dynamax, it does have a 211 base defense. And with Beast Boost, you're gaining defense every time you take a knockout. So Body Press becomes unbelievably powerful. So Body Press is the move of choice here. And then we went for Trick Room instead of Protect because Trick Room on this Pokemon is very good. And it becomes Max Guard when you Dynamax it anyway. So might as well go for that. For the second build, we have Stakataka at Life Orb. This is going to be your max attack of Stakataka here. Beast Boost, Life Orb. 50 level. I don't know why I said that. It's irrelevant. EV is 252 HP, 252 into attack, and the 4 in special defense. Same EV spread, but a different nature and different IVs. We have Lonely Nature, which gives you plus attack and minus defense. The minus defense is very good for this Pokemon. And then IV's 16 defense. So notice how we have to take away from its defense, but now you have 201 as your attack and your defense. And how it works is whichever one is taller, which is really weird. So like, you know how the stats go HP, then attack, then defense, then special attack, special defense, and then speed? Well, you get, if they're tied, you get the bigger boost on the top there. It's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing, but that is how the world works, and that's just how it is. So if your attack and defense are both tied, you're going to get it in the attack, which is cool because it means you can go for 16 or 17 IVs, or even less if, you know, you're resetting for like 10 hours on the max adventures and you lose one more. It's not the end of the world. It could come up, but it's not the end of the world. Anyway, Lonely Nature, giving you that and 16 defense, making it max attack and Stakataka, and now it has the ability Moxie. All that to do Moxie, but it's there. Moxie is a good ability. It's a good thing. Gyro Ball, Rock Slide, Body Press, Trick Room, nothing changing there. I still think it's probably the optimal spread for this Pokemon. Maybe you go Protect if you have enough Trick Room setups on other Pokemon, because it won't always be Dynamax, and a big part of this Pokemon is hoping to live the entirety of your Dynamax and then have very powerful body presses. So yeah, you know, maybe you want Protect there. But for now, Trick Room. As far as the other options go, which there are a lot of options, this Pokemon is very customizable. You don't even have to go with these spreads. You can go with different moves, different items, whatever you want. Let's talk about some options. So as far as items go, first off, we have Shukaberry. Shukaberry is a very good item for this Pokemon. Being able to half its ground type weakness into just a regular weakness instead of a 4 times is obviously very good. Air Balloon, getting rid of that weakness entirely, but then as soon as it's like barely tapped, it now loses its balloon. I'm not a big fan of the item. It's definitely good, and I see its value on certain teams and on certain Pokemon, but here I don't like it that much just because your opponent goes with like a Dazzling Gleam from their Coco or something, and now you have no item. So it's something that's a little rough, but it's definitely a good item. Definitely something you can, think about. Expert Belt, Choice Band can do more damage as well. And then we have Assault Vest. Assault Vest is very solid for this Pokemon because, like I said, you don't have to use Trick Room. You don't have to use Protect. You can go with 4 attacks and just be a super tanky boy. Pretty good stuff. Or girl. This is gender neutral. Actually, Stakataka doesn't have a gender, I believe. But oh well. Anyway, High Horsepower and Heat Crash. Superpower and Zen Headbutt. We got a lot of different options here. So High Horsepower is definitely good for, being able to buff your special defense. Not a bad thing to have. Heat Crash, being able to change the weather as well as just be a strong attack. It plays off of your weights, and this thing is like 1 billion pounds, or whatever metric system you're using or whatever. It's a heavy boy, is what I'm saying. It's a bit on the heavy side. So Heat Crash is cool. Superpower is another option if you don't want to go with Body Press. It does offer a little bit more damage, I believe, 10 more damage Dynamaxed, and it's always a good move. But Body Press, like I said, is kind of insane for this Pokemon, so I wouldn't be going for Superpower, but it's an option. Zen Headbutt for coverage. You can change terrain. It's a cool thing. You're probably not going to use it, but it's a cool thing to have, to know that it gets. Other moves that aren't just damaging moves, we have Protect. Obviously, Protect is good. Like I was saying, Protect over Trick Room is definitely an option, something to be, thought about. Wide Guard is another really cool thing, especially in the format. We have a lot of good multi-targeting moves. We have Earthquake, we have Rock Slide, we have Dazzling Gleam, we have Heat Wave. There's a whole lot of moves like that, and Wide Guard is always a good option and definitely something to consider when building or playing against Stakataka. Ally Switch is another really cool random move that you can have here. It's very gimmicky, it's very dumb. Everybody hates it, but it is an option, so know it's there when you're playing or playing against Stakataka. Last but not least, we have Iron Defense. Iron Defense Body Press is a really cool thing that you can do. You're probably not going to sit there and use Iron Defense for a couple of turns, because if they smack you with a special defense or special attacking, Earth ground move or fighting or whatever, the two that exist, you're dead. So yeah, maybe not Iron Defense, but I think it's a cool move to know that it gets. Anyway, that is about it for the Customizilla. We are going to be talking about these 2 Pokemon down here in the bottom right corner, these 2 synergetic Pokemon. So Cresselia is first. This also can serve as Dusclops if you want to use Dusclops over it. pretty much it's a Trick Room Pokemon that gets rid of one of your weaknesses by being able to ally switching. And yeah, Dusclops can also activate your weakness policy, while, you know, Cresselia can offer some further support, Helping Hand, Icy Wind on a, you know, a not hard Trick Room team, although Stakataka really wants a hard Trick Room team most likely. It's good stuff. Cresselia is good stuff. It also has Levitate, so it gets rid of that ground weakness. You know, ally switching is pretty dirty with that, or you can even just switch it out. It's very mean, so that's good. The other Pokemon we have here is Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini is a mid-speed Pokemon, which means it's pretty solid under Trick Room, which Stakataka likes. It's also very good coverage-wise. You know, you worried about fighting, well, you got a Fairy-type attack. You're worried about Rock. I don't know why I said rock. You're worried about ground. Well, you got a water attack. So Tapu Fini definitely covers that pretty well. It also activates the Misty Terrain, which allows Stakataka to not get burned, which is a very good thing to happen. And when it's Dynamax, you don't really want it to fall asleep either. So it's just good across the board. Tapu Fini is a great, you know, Pokemon for that. If I was building a Stakataka core, I would go with Stakataka plus Cresselia or Dusclops plus Tapu Fini, and it'd be an easy start to the core. So that's definitely a good, you know, start if you want to play Stakataka. Or Stakataka, some people call it Stakataka. Stakataki. Takis are good. Anyway, that's it for the builds. Let's go ahead and talk about speed tiers. So, not really much to say here. He's the slowest boy, like I was saying. He's 16. He's slower than everything else. Torkoal, Ferrothorn, Escavalier, Dusclops, Hatterene, Snorlax, Amoonguss, Clefairy, Gastrodon, and Rhyperior. I mispronounced those so badly. Like, I just can't talk right now. But yeah, he's slower than them all. So, there's not really anything else to say about speed tiers. That's really it. So, I'm going to move on. Fastest section ever. Anyway, so first off, for damage calcs, we have 3 defensive damage calcs. I just wanted to show what it can live even when it's quad weak to those things. And then you also have 3 offensive. If you want to look around, go for it. So first off, Lando T Max Quake from a max attack Lando, even with the nature, you know, 252 investment plus adamant, or, you know, plus attack nature is all I'm saying. Max Quake into our Dynamaxed Stakataka with 252 HP, 0 defense investment. We are surviving, but barely. It is hitting 82 to 97%, which is guaranteed to a KO, but like I said, barely. Also, you have to Dynamax, so, you know, that's another thing to say. Next, we have 252 attack Urshifu single strike close combat. That's the dark fighting Urshifu into our Stakataka. Not like that really matters because it shares that typing. Anyway, 252 HP into our Dynamax Stakataka, hitting 64 to 76, which is a lot of damage, but a guaranteed 2-hit KO nonetheless. Even if it maxes, it's actually doing less damage because those moves, you know, max fighting actually goes down in BP if it's close combat. Good to know. So yeah, close combat does a lot of damage, but once again, a 2-hit KO. Very good stuff. Next, we have Metagross Max Quake from the Root Move Stomping Tantrum, 252 investment, into our 252 HP Dynamax Stakataka, hitting 47 to 57%, which is a 90% chance to a 2-hit KO, and if it's weakness policy proc, it has a 90% chance to OHKO. So, something to keep in mind. Don't really be up against a Metagross if you think they're going to be like weakness policy proc and you're not under Trick Room, because it's going to kill you. Probably. 90% chance says it's going to kill you. Anyway, next we have 252 plus attack Stakataka Gyro Ball. That's right, it is not the max. Max Steel Spike actually is less damage. It is still 130 base power, so it's a lot of damage if you're already Dynamax. But if you're not Dynamax and staring down a Tapu Fini, Gyro Ball actually does more damage. Hot take. Actually, not a hot take. That's just a fact. Anyway, next we have that into 236 HP for defense Tapu Fini, hitting 72 to 84.5, guaranteed to a KO. A lot of these Finis will have more defense actually than this. This is just the most used on Pikalytics, so that's what I ran the calcs by, just because, you know, it's pretty easy to do that. But yeah, you don't kill it, so that's unfortunate. But you do a lot of damage, which is good. Next, we have Weakness Policy Proc 252 plus Attack Stakataka Max Steel Spike into a 252 HP Dynamaxed Glastrier, hitting 94.6 to 112, which is a lot of damage, and a 68.8% chance to OHKO. Still not getting a guaranteed OHKO, but it's, you know, pretty good, and if you gotta roll the dice, you gotta roll the dice, but you got an almost 70% chance, so it's a lot of damage. Rolls still suck, and I wouldn't say, hey, do it 100% of the time, but maybe do it like 70% of the time, just like the number, you know. Anyway, next we have Stakataka Max Rockfall, Weakness Policy proc into the Weakness Policy, I I don't know why I said that. Dynamaxed Moltres Galar. This is just the default one. Picolytics, 212 HP and 4 defense. Dynamaxed Max Moltres Galar. Dynamaxed Moltres Galar. Say that a million times. You probably can't. Well, you probably can. It's hard. Shut up. Anyway, we hit it for 138 to 163%, which is guaranteed OHKO. A lot of damage, awesome stuff, good calc to know, easy money. Anyway, that is about it for those. Let's talk about single spotlight real quick before I end the video. So nothing too different here. It's gonna be the max attack of Stakataka variant, with the max attack and then a little bit off the defense and a little bit, and a little bit less IVs as well. Lonely Nature, 15 IVs, makes it so that its attack and defense are stacked. Tied is what I meant to say. It makes it so they're tied so that you get the attack boost whenever you kill something with Beast Boost. Pretty good stuff. I went for a Dual Stab, Heat Crash, and Trick Room, and Life Orb as the item. Pretty natural, neutral, generic, good stuff for Stakataka. Not a bad Pokemon in singles, I would presume, but not too strong because Trick Room is a lot weaker in singles than it is in VGC. So the Pokemon is a little bit better in VGC in my opinion, but still a cool Pokemon in singles. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Makes a huge difference. It really does. Thank you for watching. Click all those links in the description below. Follow me on Twitch. Watch me on Twitch. Do all of the things down there. Click on the Patreon. Subscribe to the Patreon. I do articles when I can. A whole bunch of stuff. Ad. YouTube guy. Thanks so much for having a good time watching this video, and have a great week or weekend. It's almost a weekend. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.